Hi guys, and welcome back to Tea Time with Livvy. I honestly cannot cope with how much you're loving it. I'm so happy that you're ever loving it because I was so nervous that you wouldn't get it that I'm on my own and all the topics, and I was a little bit like panicking. But anyway, I've spoke about some pretty deep topics so far. But today's episode is about friendships, like the good, the bad, the ugly, all that kind of stuff. I feel like I literally have been through everything when it comes to friendships, and yeah, I'm going to talk about it today. And it is what it like. Anyone who I have been like friends with, like I'm not really like I haven't got any. I've not got any beef or anything with them. Like I don't really care. They're just not in my life no more. They're just not on like my path. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. But yeah, obviously I won't be naming like people or not like that. I don't hate anyone that much. But if I do, I'm messing. Right, okay, so let's get into this. I feel like I've briefly spoke about like on other episodes, like how I have like always struggled with friends, and that's fine. I feel like you see so many like I don't know, you'll be around people who have like big friendship groups, or I've just like loads of friends, and you don't really feel that way. And again, that is fine. The older you get, the more you kind of realize that like a smaller circle is the way forward. Like there's just no way around that, in my opinion. I mean, some people do really get on with like having a good like big group of friends, but for me, I've just never really fitted in that category. I feel like obviously a big thing for me was probably moving. I've said that a million times. If I stayed like in Liverpool and I grew up with friends, I probably would have had a few more like friends on my hand account that I've obviously grown up with. Like my mum has got such solid friendships. Like she's literally she's got the same mates that she had when she was like before she had me when she was like 16, and there's pictures of them all when they were on the fields when they were like younger back in the day. Like it's fucking weird. And for me, I just never had them solid friends growing up. I was always that girl, I would say, that had like different mates. I would like not have a different best mate every week, but maybe every few months. Especially in senior school, I feel like I always like trial and error. And I would like experience these situations, and I would always end up arguing with people. I would always end up falling out with people. And I am not too bad with it no more, but I am one of them people is like once you kind of cross me, I do hold a bit of a grudge. Not a grudge, but because life is too short to be like that. But definitely when I was younger, I would never speak to you ever again. And it's I mean, sometimes it's a bit, and because I'm so used to cutting people out of my life, like friends that I valued because of the way that they used to be with me, or like things that I'd find out, like the way they used to speak about me when I was not but like a good friend to them. I feel like, I don't know, I kind of got used to losing friends. So then when I got older, and it was like people would be, obviously things are going to go happen when you like growing up, that's just part of life, but things would happen and I would just like be like, right, that's it, blocked, cut off. And I was a bit like a blocker, and I would just like, no, it was weird. Like I am kind of still like that now. Like I just don't really have the energy all the time for like people in my life to just want to like come in and just like try and cause any drama for me. We're good, we're mates. Like it really just doesn't, I don't know, like I hate that side of it, which I feel like I was always in. It probably definitely in like senior school. Oh my god, if you're struggling with friendships in senior school, do not worry. Like my dad always used to say to me, like you'll actually be lucky to count 5 people on your hand once you leave, by the time you leave school. And I used to think, sure, I've got all these mates. Like I'll have all these mates when I leave school. I literally don't see or speak to one person from school, and I haven't since the day I left, really. And things would just happen. I always felt like I was such, like, especially in senior school, I feel like I was a bit, people did want to be around me because, like, not like using, but like low key using, do you get me? Like, not even really for me, but because I was like the one who would be allowed like the sleepovers. My dad would come around, he'd give me money, would be like, there was just, if like if I was going like out with my dad, or we were going up somewhere, like he was like, your mates can come bring your mates, he'd make sure my mates were all coming, they paid for. and I was bored that day, whether it was like even something like ridiculous, like a fucking, like if it was a few £100, it doesn't matter. The friends who were there with me were getting bored that. I don't know, there was a little bit of maybe, do you want to actually be my mate, or do you just like the goodness that kind of comes with it? And like, say if I was friends with girls, and we'd go away to my dad. Obviously, my dad would be like, bring friends, and I'd be flying my mates over to Portugal and that. And like, again, it was just like started, once I got a little bit older, I started to see then like the true colours of people, because certain things would happen and I would never hear off them again. And I was just like, that is so bizarre. And I feel like, I don't know, people just had a very wrong, like, perception of me. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, parents as well. I don't know. They just did. It was just always, like, I remember when I was younger, this is such a funny story, but I remember this is before, like, senior school, like, this was when I lived in Liverpool, and there was this girl who lived across the street from me. She told me Santa wasn't real. I'll never forgive her. But anyway, we used to be mates when we were younger, and she used to come round to mine like every day, because she literally lived across the road. And I was only young. I was literally like, must have been about 7, and obviously I was a spoiled kid. Like, I had all these toys. You come into mine, and it was just like every girl's dream. And obviously you don't, I look back now and realise, like, fuck me, like, it really was like that. But then at the time, I'm just a kid playing with my toys, you get what I'm saying? Like, and then I remember there was this girl and I loved her so much, we were really good friends. And one time my mum rang her mum and was like, does blah blah want to come out and play? Like, does she want to come over? Or Livvy's asking for her. And she'd be like, yeah, I'll get her ready now. And then she forgot to put the phone down, and she was like, proper slagging me off, calling me like a spoiled little brat. I actually need to ring my mum. Oh my god, guys, let me see if she answers, because it's actually hysterical what she said about me. But I'll have to ask my mum what she actually said. Let's see if she answers. She best answer, because she's gonna ruin my day if she doesn't. Answer, you fucking bitch. Does anyone else like find that your mum, I don't know, if someone else was holding something to my head and said, I'm going to pull the trigger, but you've got to ring someone who doesn't answer the phone, and if they answer you, like, if you're gone, I'd definitely ring my mum, because she just never answers. I'm going to text her, say, answer. Oh, here she is. Hi, Mum.
Oh, what's up?
Say hi, you're on my podcast. Say hi, you freak.
No. What do you want me for?
Right, so I'm talking about friendships and like how people was with me when I was growing up. And remember that time that we rang her to come and play out, and our mum left the house phone on and she was talking about me.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
What was she saying about me? Do you remember?
Oh, she didn't like you very much, did she? She called you the brat from over the road.
The brat, because I had all the toys in the fucking world.
No, your dad bought you your own bouncy castle to keep you quiet, and so did all your mates, so everyone that got with you. You've got news for your Hannah Montana bouncy castle.
I actually got used.
When you used to put the bouncy castle away, all the kids used to go home. Remember? And you used to make them come round so you could stand on their backs, so you were the main cheerleader. All the kids used to be on all fours while you stood on the back and you couldn't breathe. Like that, just stay there for a little bit longer while I'm the main cheerleader. The kids were there.
No, that's so. You know what I was saying? I wasn't a fat kid.
A picture of that.
Oh, you'll have to find that picture. I wasn't like a fat kid, but I was like a bit chubby, and I used to always.
These were like little skinny kids from over the road, and they were on all fours in the back, and you were on the back. And I remember coming out saying, "Hey, get down," and you were like, "No, I'm the main cheerleader." I would make myself that I would be like, I wanted to be obviously the main character, do you get me? So like, even though I was the heavier one and I probably should have been lifting them, I used to make them lift me. And
that's so true that my dad actually bought me a bouncy castle, a big Hannah Montana one, and everyone used to just fucking use me, didn't they, bad? Remember when it was me Holy Communion, and she took me to my big fat gypsy wedding shop, and everyone just talked about me, and oh my God, it was so bad with the way that my mum...
Me and your dad arguing that morning, he went, what fucking knobhead goes to a shop and dresses the kid like that? I was like, what? He went, I feel ashamed. And then we were arguing, trying to fit you in the car, right?
Oh my
and he's
God.
like, just kick the dress in. I was like, you dare kick that dress? And I swear to God, when we
But
got
you
out
remember when afterwards though, Mum, when we had peaches and cream in the kitchen, we had the lady, like, what is it, the beady woman making all personalised bracelets. You had a full fucking wacky warehouse in
you got some full workshop, didn't I, going on?
Peaches and cream around, half his fucking speak had fucking a smoky eye.
Past, and Gary went to me, what size of that, man?
And it
I
was
went,
ours.
Oh, that's our bouncy castle. He told you Father Christmas weren't real.
I've just said that. She told me. I've just said that before I rang you. Yeah, no, she told me, the little bitch. And I was only young as well, and I was really still into like me Santas and that. Like, I was a bit devastated about that. That was bad, honest to God. Oh my God. But yeah, I thought I'd ring you anyway and get your proof that she actually was
still as bad now.
I know. I don't even have any mates now.
Except people don't keep the phones on anymore.
Well, I'll let you know anyway. I will get on.
All right, good luck.
Love you, bye. So yeah, I was definitely that kind of like kid in school. I don't know, that like when I was younger, that I was always the one that houses would be coming around, because I always had like the funnest things going on. Do you get what I mean? And I don't know, my mum was definitely extra when it comes to like parties and stuff. My dad literally used to think like, what the actual fuck? Like, I swear to God, my mum used to think she was a wag. I swear, she actually did. But we did. It was fun. I mean, I love my Ugg boots and my juicy trackies. I used to live in them. I used to go in my room and I had this wardrobe and I had every colour juicy trackie that you could think of that was out, and all the matching Ugg boots underneath. Like, I used to get matching Uggs for my juicy trackie. Oh, I just loved it. That was like my thing. And like, say if like I was getting rid of clothes, I would obviously always go and knock at my mates and be like, you can have all them, and it wouldn't be like fucking cheap clothes. Like some kids aren't like that. You try and take, are you messing? Arnavé is a bit like that. You try and like Arnavé's got every bit of skincare in the world, and you try and like use a pump of moisturizer, and she's like, you've ruined my life. I definitely did not like have that. Like, I was not like that. And it shocks me that, like, no, it doesn't shock. I feel like maybe with skincare it's different now, because kids don't really like the same things. That they're not playing with Barbies, or they're playing with Glow Recipe, so maybe you would be pissed off if someone was using your good moisturiser rather than like taking one of your dolls home or something. I feel like it's from a young age, it's kind of I've always had this like painted picture of me, whether it's from like parents of the friends I had, because like, or whether it was just like maybe it was there. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's so weird, because I do feel like if my life was different and it didn't have all these flashy things at the time, which I was, even though I wasn't like a materialistic person, do you get me? Like, now I literally, you know me, everything I own is basically fake. Yeah, like, even though I had these designer things when I was growing up, I was never like, my dad always used to say, don't ever look down on people, don't think you're better than everyone. And I mean, maybe there was like a certain phases in life where it did have like, I was a bit like cocky about it, but then my dad always like brought me down to earth. So then, yeah, but when it comes back to friendships, like when my mum said people used to like literally use me, I do feel like I've always kind of been used, like, and some people will be like, oh, well, shut up. But like, I do, like, because it's just weird. Like, I knew when it comes to friendships, modelly, I had no friends, but like on paper, I had a big long list of them. But like I've just said, like, because I'm so used to being like talked about, like, now I do constantly maybe think like see the worst in like in friends and like in people, because I'm just like used to that bitterness and like that little bit of two-faced, like, which I get that everyone is two-faced in a point of their life, but I'm talking about like growing up girls who I had closely around me. They were coming to Portugal with me to go when I was going over to see my dad, and like when I started going out in town. Oh, you know, and then there was like other friends as well from by mine, and like I would just never, like, every time I go out, there was always just off vibes with me. I mean maybe I am the issue. People probably might be listening in who like went to school with me and not thinking like maybe the people just didn't want to be friends with me. But you know, I feel like I had a lot going on in the behind the scenes when I was between certain ages that people wasn't aware of. And some of these friends knew what was going on because obviously I'd confided in them and told them. So it was like, you can't really like blame me for, I'm just a kid trying to grow up, and there was just like me whole like world was like falling apart behind the scenes, but everyone just seeing me as like, I don't know, this fucking argumentative bitch probably. But well, I have to defend myself, that's what I always say. But yeah, people, I think, and parents were like, I don't want you hanging around with that kid. I feel like I was definitely that kid where your mum and dad were like, I don't want you hanging around with her, because I think people just heard things about like about me and then tried to just like slate me family and that. But I just found that quite strange because they were around for the good, but then the minute that the minute that it got bad, or like things went a little bit bad, like they just like kind of disappeared, and that's not a friend. So to me, I'm grateful for every single person that's ever left my life. I feel like sometimes when people leave your life, it's mad because it's like, it's just like it all makes sense. Like fucking hell, I can't now imagine my life now being friends with some of them people, not in a horrible way, but I just couldn't because we're so different. But yeah, so I would say I definitely struggled with that in school. I always thought, like I've mentioned that, but I just really struggled with like, why can't I have these solid friendships, because they all definitely did within someone. And I just couldn't really figure out, like I feel like then I started doing a lot of things to like be liked. To get what I'm saying? Like after school, I was trying so hard. Like I had like other friends from other schools. I was trying to be friends with them, but I knew that they didn't like me within inside the group. I mean, I'm like good with them now, but like I don't know. Like I just knew that that was off. Like we were younger. It is what it is. And then, but I really wanted to like just fit in. I did try and fit in so hard, and then I think it just got to a point where like people were just blatantly like having an issue with me that I was just fully unaware of, and I left college because I thought it would stop in college, like like the weirdness, and like I thought maybe I'll actually make some friends in college or sixth form, whatever, and then it was just the same, and I was just like, oh no, I was like, need to leave. So yeah, I ended up getting out of there, and then I just feel like that was kind of my whole life with school. Like if you are honestly in that situation where you just genuinely can't settle down with any friendship groups, or you just know that you just don't fit in, or you just know that people are bad mouthing you behind your back, like Jesus Christ, I know that people was doing that every single fucking day, and I could tell. I knew when I walked off, people would say things like, and it was just like I was just like used to it, and then I just thought, that's not like, I've got no mates and it's fine. Like I've literally got no friends. I just accepted it in the end, and I feel like it got to a point in school where I did just accept it. Like I knew that people were definitely hating on me, and I just thought, well, if you're gonna hate on me, I am gonna hate on you. It's like, but I did have that. Like sometimes you do have to just fake it till you make it, guys. Like I feel like the minute I started showing my vulnerability online, like just say online, and we're putting it in real life circumstances, like so much like went wrong for me. Like this is just relating back to friends, because the minute that you show vulnerability and that you show that these are having an effect, whether the girls being mean to you or like bullies or whatever, but the minute that you show them like vulnerability and that you show them that you're upset, it's like almost they'll run with that then. So you have got to, if you are in school, you have got to defend yourself, and you've got to like, even if you are crying on the inside, like have that brave face. I used to cry every single day going to school, moaning, I don't want to go in, please let me stay off, because I knew that it was just like bitchiness, and then like it was just awkward and I felt uncomfortable. But like my mum was like, you best go in there. She used to give me this speech every morning, and she was like, you best go in there and show them that you don't give a fuck. I want you, like I haven't raised you to be a fucking all this, and start giving me all that. So I was just like, oh God's sake. So I did, like that's what I would do. I'd go in, eat with me chin held high every day, even if I was getting absolute, like like school cancelled. It's such a thing. I was literally getting school cancelled every other week. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, like now where it's like you get cancelled on like line in school, like when you're in school, you can also get cancelled in school where like everyone just turns on you, or like everyone just hates you. And I definitely went through that I had a few fair shares of that. And I used to but I didn't never used to let people know. And I feel like that's why no one actually like tried to like be too mean. Do you get what I'm saying? Because anyone who did, I would always like wipe the floor with them, kind of thing, because I'm not gonna come into school and just like get about my day and have yous make me feel a certain way. Like that's just bizarre to me, over what stupid little bitchy arguments. And some people are just so, it's so weird in school. Please do not be fucking stressing yourself out if you're like growing up and currently and you're a bit younger about friends, because I don't speak to one person from that part of my life And I've got like amazing friends in my life now, and like you do sometimes just have to accept that sometimes you will go through phases where you will feel like left out, you won't feel involved, but they're just not your people, they're just not your circle. And then obviously I started posting online, and then it's funny then when you get some, like when you feel like when I started getting somewhere online, because then all the people in school like all of a sudden are lurking again, they're watching, and it's so funny because like it's just hysterical, honest to God. It's just it makes me laugh because she's all just, I just would never watch someone I didn't like. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, I feel like people do change, and it does annoy me sometimes because I do understand like sometimes like the way I had to be and the way I had to like defend myself. Probably did come off about like, a bit like a bitch and like meanie vibes, but I really wouldn't change it because like I just said, like if I would have cracked and like showed one bit of vulnerability to anyone, I feel like it would have just give more people like more like, ugh, do you get what I mean? She'd go for me. So I just kind of like kept the wall up and was just a bit like rude with people, but I couldn't care less. But I do think people can change. You get what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm not changed for years. I couldn't give a fuck if you hated me in school, but I just mean like you sometimes do think, oh, I wonder if people watch me now or like see me on like the view page or something and feel like, oh shit, like think that I'm like acting or something. And that I'm not nice. But obviously I'm nice now because I like the people I'm talking to. Maybe I just did not like you to get me. That's how it is. But that's fine if you know the vibe scales. Like that's what I say. Trust your gut always, and I trusted mine, and I'm so glad I did because not one of them paid off to be a good friend. Do you get what I'm saying? Like there's not one of them people who I used to be friends with where I'm like, right, I've lost a good mate there. I'm not, because the truth comes out in the wash and like things come to a light and you're like, wow, I dodged a bullet there. So always remember that sometimes blessings are sent in disguise, and even though they don't make sense at the time, they definitely will make sense later down the line. And then people who you were wrapped around, you'll be like, wow, imagine if I stayed wrapped around them, you could be on a different completely path in life. Like friendships are so important, and who you surround yourself with is so important because you surrounded with people. Like my dad always used to say, this is like going to be a quote my dad always used to say to me, because I definitely quote my dad more than I quote anyone. But if you hang around with a painter, you become a painter. So if you're hanging around with people who are going out every weekend and like doing whatever, like you're going to end up falling in that category. And like sometimes that's like fair enough, but it's like you'd be surprised like how hard it is like to pull yourself out of them situations if you did fall into thingy, because some people can just like have a mad weekend and thingy, but then some people can't. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I've been watching people on TikTok, and it's like they're obviously like recovering from like multiple different things, and it's so mad. Like they literally all, and when they talk about friendships, they always say like, I just wish I kind of got out of that friendship and like them bad like habits of people sooner, because obviously they're okay after it, but they obviously people aren't. But yeah, friendship is definitely a big, massive, important thing, and I definitely do look back and think, wow, dodged a bullet there, 1,000,000%, because I just kind of got on my own path, and I was used to being alone, like not alone where I was lonely, like, but I was used to like not really like having people. I had my mum. Do you get what I'm saying? I would tell my mum that everything. Is not one thing that I keep from my mum, even if I'm embarrassed. Like it's not like that. I've got the best relationship with her, like sister wise. She's like me. She is like sometimes like my sister more than my mum. She knows everything about me. So I just kind of never really like felt like I like missed out on that. Do you get me? So I was used to being alone. So when I did leave school and I did come away from everyone, I was fine with that, because I don't know, my life was, I just had me mum and like me family and that, and like I was just happy with that. And then obviously I eventually started going out in town. I had all that friends now. I feel like there was a big massive turn in my friendships with like multiple different people really. And I would say it was when social media, like when I was taking my social media a bit like more seriously and I was getting out there. I feel like it was almost like I just like not, because I feel like when I talk about my followers, like people think, oh love, like you're not even on that like high of a follower. I don't mean like they skyrocketed in it where I'm like, oh no, 1,000,000 followers, but to me like that's still a lot of people. Do you get what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna like not make out like it is, because it is like 50 fucking odd thousand people is a lot of people. Imagine all that in a room on my Instagram, of course. And then me on me TikTok's like 170,000 people. Like that's a lot. Like, but sometimes I don't give myself enough credit for that. And I told you on one of the other episodes I need to start doing it. So I am giving myself credit for it. But I feel like maybe then when I did get this like a different group of friends and I was around different people, and then I started doing social media, like again, I know, I don't want to sound like, oh, I'm thinking, but when I've always said I've had that, because I've always had that fear of, because I knew I was getting used when I was a kid and I was growing up. when I was in senior school. And then when I started getting on Instagram and TikTok, and I started like growing a lot more, because I feel like the people I was like around also, like, as much as they probably wouldn't admit it, which always annoys me so much about people. There's nothing wrong with doing it, but like I just like some people wouldn't, like, I don't know, they'd make it be like, oh, I don't want to do that, but then they try their hardest for an Instagram picture, or they just do everything for Instagram, or they do everything for that. Like there's literally nothing wrong with like enjoying taking pictures and enjoying posting them and enjoying like doing that, but at least admit it. I hate it when you're around them people who are like this is what I was around. Like they obviously knew I enjoyed doing it. I'd post my videos, and again I feel like a lot of the friends that I had was definitely like talking behind my back at that point when I was posting certain things or I was doing certain things. Like there was a lot of two-facedness there, but then again it was for different reasons this time. But it was just, again, it did all boil down to like the fact that like I was just like actually taking it somewhere. Do you get what I'm saying? And I knew that they really wanted to take it seriously secretly, but they would never admit it, and they'd almost like try and like do like little seedy things to like put me down and to like make me feel a bit like a knobhead. And it was just because they didn't have the confidence to do it, and they were just making out like, oh, they were just making out like it was just like, oh, just for fun, just for fun. Do you know what I mean? Like but then it was just a bit weird. I just felt a bit weird in certain situations. And then, yeah, I feel like that's when all the bitchiness started with that kind of like group that I was in. It was just all like, I'm not saying I was completely innocent, most definitely not, but it was just like gossiping, bitchiness, and like secret like competition. But again, like I was never really in competition with anyone because I was in my own lane. Like I knew that. Like I wasn't just going out on over weekend taking cute pictures and outfits. Like I was on my stories, chatting shit, was showing people the highs, the lows. I was doing, like, I was really honestly like enjoying it. Like then I started my YouTube channel, which like people who was around me was like definitely talking about it and like being like, ugh. And then like a few months after that, they'd be like trying to do it themselves, or like say, oh, I want to do it, like I'm dying, should I start? Like, do you know what I mean? If you enjoy social media, just admit it. Like stop trying to sit on your high horse and be like, I could never be one of these influencers, I could never do that, when your whole life you literally show to Instagram. Do you get what I'm saying? Just because you're not like past a certain point, you just try and like make out like it's not, but you'd like at the time especially, they would have loved to have done it. I just feel like that, do you get what I'm trying to say to you? It just pissed me off, it really did. And then I would say that, yeah, I had certain mates, and then obviously when I went and got that BBL, which I told you about, God, I can't believe I've told you that. But there was only 2 people that knew. Obviously me, like my mum as well, but like friends wise, and they was like, I made like a separate private story for them. So like when I was like posting like me recovering and like doing little things, it was just like them 2 anyway. Obviously they knew, one of them come with me. But then a few like weeks later, I remember going to a like after that, like a few months later, after I'd got a little bit better and I was allowed to go back to the gym, I remember going to the gym with my PT, and I didn't really want anyone knowing. Like it was just like a secret at the time. Like I said again, it was more, I was keeping it a secret for my own sake, and obviously my friends, the people that knew who I would let, I trusted with that because they knew what I'd like gone through and they'd seen it, or like the shit that I'd been putting up with. So I didn't ever expect anything to like be said kind of thing. It was just like, obviously. And then I feel like then it started getting back to me that like one of, like, not both of them by the way, but one of them was just like telling people, and like it was just like, oh, that's mad. And then I remember going to a PT session, and the poppy said to me, my PT was like, you had BBL? And I was like, no, but like it was just awkward. It's so awkward. Like I don't lie because I want you to think I've got an actual big bum. It was just like, oh, I just feel so awkward. I hate talking about it. Like obviously I'm okay talking about it now because I've like healed from that time in my life, but at that time in my life I hadn't. And it was just like, it was like that being brought up was just like bringing all like shit back that I didn't like. So I just would rather just deny it and just dead the conversation than like go into it, because then if you say yeah to someone, they're going to be like, oh my god, what was it like, blah blah blah, and it's not a nice thing to like go over. Do you get me? So it was just like, that's another reason. But then anyway, I remember going to my first PC session, she was like, yeah, have you had BBL? One of my girls has just been in and said that she's seen blah blah on the weekend, the other one friend that knew, she said that you went and got a BBL in the winter, which I did. I got a BBL in the winter. It was just too specific to not be true. Do you get me? And I was just like, that's mad. Now, that was the first time that someone had actually come to me and been like, I've heard this. Obviously, people had been like, have you done it because of the way that you look? But it was like where someone had actually said, someone said it. And I was like, oh. And I was like, wow. And especially like that, again, like that person. And then it come out and then like there was multiple people that knew because of that person. And it just annoyed me because I actually like defended that person in like so many situations. You get what I'm saying? I was really like a true friend. I've been in fights and everything, like defending people. Like I just always like really valued her. So it was just a bit like, wow, that. But then it was just like, okay, that's fine. And then like I don't know, like but then and then, you know, I feel like I was just aware. Sometimes I do this thing where I'll find things out and I'll know what people think about me, but I'll just like play the game, not like play the game with them, mate. I wouldn't be going out and making an effort and seeing them, but it's just like arm's length, and I just will just like keep the peace because I'm not interested. I just know what type of person you are. Do you get what I'm saying? But then it got to a point where I like, why should I be like that? Like, these people literally chat shit about me all the fucking time. They do not like me. And again, and then it's like there in black and white, like that people like are talking my business and my private things that obviously, if it was like just a stupid little shitty ass secret, I wouldn't be asked. But to me, that was a big deal. So yeah, I thought right now, and then I got to a certain point where I was like, I'm sick of being like a nice person. Do you get what I mean? Sometimes you do have to be the villain and in the story, like as much as you worry, and I do worry about, oh, I don't want it to say this about me, or I don't want it to do this, or you don't want their side of, like at the end of the day, they're always going to have their side of the story. Sometimes you have just got to let someone just be prepared and just be the villain and just be like, right, well, you can do what you need to do. You can paint me out to be the person that you want, like, to other people. I know my like truths, and that's all that matters. And that's like the point that I got to, and I just like had a huge like block and spray, and I was just like done with it. Like I was done with the situation. I felt a certain way, and I feel like your energy doesn't ever lie. I heard all like certain things anyway, so I had that as well in the back of my mind. But then it was just like the way that I felt in general, like it was, do you get what I'm saying? And always trust that feeling, guys, because sometimes it's like getting a haircut. Like you do have to trim the dead ends every now and then. Do you get what I'm saying? And I do, and like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's been like friendships where like I've sworn that I'll never speak to them ever again, and like they're like the people will end up talking, and but then but that's only really one case, to be honest. When it comes to like a lot of the time, I will never speak to you again. But it's just like, I don't know, certain things like that will just, it's just difficult sometimes to navigate. You get what I mean? Sometimes you know that someone isn't necessarily like a bad person, but it's like them times of our lives where we didn't get on, or like things went wrong with our friendships. It's like we was both at fault. Like was in certain situations. Obviously, you're always going to feel like there was more on the other half because you don't. Do you get what I'm saying? But there's always two sides to that. Well, there's three sides to every story. There's mine, there's theirs, and then there's the truth. Do you get what I'm saying? But there's always like a second version of events, because at the end of the day, like sometimes you have to remember, and I have to remember this sometimes, you are the main character in your life, but to other people, they're the main character in their life. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's like, obviously, like the way that you feel, they feel as well, which is fine. But yeah, sometimes I do definitely feel like if forgiveness is possible with friends, and if you do find it hard, like I'm one of them people, me, like I'll have like a few different friends who I'm close with, but they won't be friends with each other. Because when I've ever had friends who were friends with each other, that's when the bitchiness starts. Who were talking behind, like me and this one person have like a little bicker, and then the whole group knows, and like they're all talking about it. And I don't like that. So like I kind of have dealt with that so many times and in so many different occasions, where I do just like to keep your friendships like a little bit separate now. So I'll have like close friends, but I'll see them different days, and sometimes I'll go weeks without seeing them. And I am one of them people who maybe I should like, I do find it, I am in my bubble. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I love being in my house. Like I love just like chilling, and I'm not really about going out no more, like drinking and all that kind of stuff. Like it just doesn't really occupy me. So sometimes I do feel a little bit like a shit friend. I'm always there for my friends. If you need a phone call, if you rang me and said I need to come around to see you, like I need to speak to you. Like my door's always open for me mates. But like when it comes to me, I do really need to like maybe like really fucking like make more of an effort. But sometimes when you're just on your own little thing and you're just like in your own little world, you do it does, like things like that do slip. But I'm definitely like a low maintenance friend. Like, and I know some people on TikTok say, oh, like low maintenance friends, that's just an excuse of being a shit friend. My friends know that how much I adore them and I love them. Like I'll always be there for them if they ever need me. Even people who I actually don't, who I have fell out with, like there was always like going to be that option that if you ever really needed me and there was a situation, that I would answer the phone to you. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I would always sit there and speak to anyone who needed me, or a friend, or a shoulder to cry on. Like I'm not an evil person like that, even if we have our dramas. So I am maybe a little bit of a low maintenance friend, and sometimes I do need to like be like, right, need to make an effort, need to make plans, but like life's just mad. Like you have so many things going on. It's just like shit. Like I always think like fucking hell, imagine when I do have a baby. Like you mums really amaze me. Like you're like super woman. Because how do you like manage everything? Do you get what I mean? Like I can't even manage my life now. Like it's just insane. But yeah, I do definitely feel like I struggle with friends, and that's fine if you are going through that as well. Like it's completely normal, and sometimes you do make friends in your 20s. Like there's probably friends that it's so weird. I was thinking about this today on my way here. Like your life is like a little path. Do you get what I'm saying? And imagine if we knew what was coming coming in the next few years. Like we don't know. I could make like the bestest friends in the whole world in the next 5 years. Like you don't know who you're going to meet on your little path and on your journey. Like sometimes I do worry. I'm like, oh, I haven't got enough mates and I'm this age and I want, like, who am I even going to invite to my wedding? But I'm so young, do you get me? Like obviously it's not like that. But yeah, I do think that's what your 20s are definitely for making new friends. And don't be scared to make new friends. Like put yourself out there. I love it when girls do that. I love it when people do that and aren't afraid to like, go and like speak to new people and like go. I just love that. But I mean, I definitely need more of the confidence to do that. But when I'm at like certain events and that with like Instagram, like like with like influencers and that, it's like you do try and speak to people and that like, and you will. But some people really do just click and like make that connection, and there you go, you got a friend for life. That's going to be your future auntie to your babies or your fucking bridesmaid. Like you just don't know. So don't worry, because you've got plenty of time to make friends. Plenty of time. And sometimes if you do feel like people are gabbing about you, talking about you, and you just don't feel like you're in a clique, then that's God's way of telling you that they're not your people. Do you get what I'm saying? And you don't want to force it, because I feel like for a long time I tried to force it with certain, especially when I was in school. But like act a certain way and like do certain things because just that way me, and it obviously then you grow up and think, ugh, what am I doing? Like just grow up. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they're never gonna appreciate, if you don't like you for who you are, then fuck off. Do you get what I'm saying? Like honest to God, if you do not like me for who I am, then why am I even bothering with you? That's what I say. But yeah, my advice with anyone would just genuinely be to just like chill out and don't stress too much about it. Like I see people all the time with big friend groups and they go on all girls holidays and you're like, oh, like must be nice. But you know what? There's probably issues in that you just don't see. And sometimes people just like are different. Like I do just like having my separate friends and just doing my own thing and like just cracking on. Like I don't really admire like all that shit. But like what's meant for you will like come. Do you know what I mean? Whether that's friends, relationships, anything. And remember, cut off them dead ends. Like don't have anyone in your life, whether they're like energy leechers, just like leech it, like any. And I just feel like really really look out for energy does never lie, and I'm such a reader of that. Like I just can sense when something's not right or when something's dodgy. And if you ever get that feeling, trust it, whether it's with a friendship, a boyfriend, anything, that's mine. But yeah, I've definitely had a few mad friendships growing up. But I'm glad, because I feel like they've shaped me, and I'm not afraid to be alone. I'm not afraid to like for people to feel like I depend on them, because I don't depend on you at all. Like honest to God, you bring as much to my life as I'll bring to yours. Like I just kind of try and reflect the energy, like the vibes. You get what I'm saying? Or I'll just literally like never speak to you again. There's no in between. But always keep an eye on that, and I promise you now, like having bad people around you can really, like I said, it can lead you down some really shitty dark paths, or can just lead you into really bad situations. Like if your circle is everything, it's literally so important. So be mindful of it. It's just as important as who you want to be in a relationship with. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, because these friends are going to try and teach you lessons on how you're going to deal with things, and when you grow up, you get you through certain situations in your life. So if you ever sense any fucking dodgy behaviour, mate, goodbye. That's what I say. Cut them off and block them and get on with your life. And then before you know it, you'll have a new friend and you'll be like, wow, because one door shuts, another one opens. But yeah, guys, that's my little friendship like delve in. I hope that's like you can like relate to some of the like stories and some of the shit that I've just like spoke about. But it is a weird one to navigate, but always remember that you will be okay, I promise you, and things do get better. And like I said, there's no age limit on meeting friends. You can meet a friend whenever. But yeah, thank you so much for listening in, and honestly, thank you so much for all the support over the past few weeks with this pod. I'm so over the moon. Make sure you're following us on all channels, Tea Time with Livvy, and you subscribe. And if you're listening in on Spotify, make sure you're following us over on there as well. But thank you so much, and I love you all, and have a lovely Sunday, and enjoy the rest of your week.